Hello! And my name is AB.
I'm Ryan Maniac.
And this is Godly Geeks Studios. And this is our friend,
Michael.
And today we are reviewing Rogue One.
A Star Wars story. As part of our continuation of watching all the Star Wars films leading up to Rise of Skywalker.
Yes. And
also, this is movie reviews.
Oh, yes. This is movie reviews.
Movie reviews.
Movie reviews.
Come on, Michael, do it. Movie reviews. You have to do the little hand thing.
You have to do it.
Otherwise, it doesn't matter.
And then it just looks like...
Movie reviews. Yes.
Anywho.
Today we're looking at Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is, again, the next continuation, or the next part of the timeline leading up to the events of Rise of Skywalker.
This is really awesome, and now we only have 5 left before Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, this is true.
Only 5 more movies to go. Wow. Still too many movies.
So the basic plot of this film revolves around the main character of Jyn Erso, who at a young age was separated from her parents and has spent pretty much a good chunk of her life running from just responsibility and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And just constantly getting herself into trouble, getting arrested and all that sort of stuff. When one day she stumbles upon the Rebel Alliance, who believe that her father, who has been taken hostage by the Empire to help them build a super weapon known as the Death Star.
Dun, dun, dun.
They believe he may be the key, that he may have put a weakness into this big death mega machine that they can exploit to pretty much prevent the Empire from having a weapon that can destroy entire planets and just solidify their reign over the galaxy. So it's basically up to Jyn and a bunch of other rebel people, I guess.
Who went rogue.
Yes. The whole crew of Rogue One to retrieve the plans in a hope that they can take down the Empire's big mega super weapon.
If you remember in New Hope, it mentions that when they get the plans and Princess Leia? Oh, what are words? Leia!
Luck and Leia.
Luck and Leia.
A great value Star Wars.
Oh, gosh. If you would remember in New Hope, when Princess Leia is talking about the plans, she mentions that a lot of people lost their lives to get these plans. So Rogue One is the story of all those lives lost. Because not only did Rogue One, who was the original people that went to go get the plans, but then a bunch of other people came to help them out because, as their name suggests, they went rogue. They weren't really sent on this mission. In fact, they didn't think it was. They thought it was too risky and not most like the idea wasn't as reliable as they would have liked because it was just coming from the daughter and not like a message or a hologram or anything like that. They had to take her word and they didn't really know her, so they were like, "No, we're good." And so her and a bunch of other rebel fighters were like, "Nah, we've been in this fight for too long, and it's time to fight. It's time to we've got to do this." And so they went off, and then while they were down there, the rebels heard that there was rebel fighting, and they came and saved them. But they didn't really save them; they just all died. They saved the plans and got them so they could, for a New Hope.
Okay.
Everyone died, so it's kind of a really sad movie, in all honesty.
It really is, and you don't think it's going to end like that because the relationship that she had there, but then I think it was a great way to end it because not everything ends well for the hero of the story.
Yeah.
So that's nice to have that kind of change of pace in the Star Wars universe.
Totally opposite of anything other Star Wars in the sense of in every Star Wars movie, yes, there's death, but it's in the end, there's always.
Usually the good guys always come out on top and everything works out good.
And
it doesn't quite work out that way.
They lost a lot of lives.
It's a very different kind of Star Wars because it's not good versus evil, that sort of thing. I mean, it has those elements, but for the most part, it's down to a lot more gritty.
It shows the war part that we didn't really see.
Shows more of the underground, the dirtier side of this whole light and dark side that we've been seeing for all these movies.
This mission is what gave, just like episode 4 is called A New Hope, it literally gave them the hope to go, hey, we could do this. We could actually defeat the Empire. And so it was this mission, it shows the ugliness of war between two different sides, and it shows the necessaries and the risks that you have to take, and sometimes leadership may not always be right.
And it was interesting to see a very different kind of Star Wars movie. Mm-hmm. We also kind of saw it with Solo, but the only problem with Solo is that it didn't really have a problem. It had the tendency to not focus on what it really wanted to be.
Yeah.
And jumped all over. Whereas this one was very solidified, and here's how the rebels got a hold of the Death Star plans.
I remember the first time I watched Rogue One, I actually ended up crying in the movie theater because I was like, wow, because it brought you in to love these characters, and you were like, I do not want you to die, but I know you're gonna die, but I do not want you to die. And so when one by one you saw them die, because they didn't all die at one time. It was like one would die here, and then one would die here, and then they all died for different reasons because they were sacrificing themselves for the mission. It was, it was just sad because you were like, I was really rooting for them, but in the end, you just, some days it's just, that's how it is.
Yeah.
But I love this movie. I think it's a great movie.
It's a really good movie. It's much better than something like Solo, which is just jumping all over the place.
I think this movie, out as a Star Wars movie, adds a lot more value to Episode 4. Because when you're watching it now, you hear and you understand what she means when she says we lost a lot of people.
Yeah, it adds like an extra layer to
New
Hope.
I watched them all die.
Like, you don't need to have seen this movie, but it's a reward having watched it, unlike Solo, where we're just going to say that a lot. Solo was kind of pointless, because it didn't add anything to the other movies.
No.
Whereas this is just like a nice little icing on the cake.
It tells you the story of something that you actually kind of wanted to know about, which was how did they get the Death Star plans? And what did she mean by how all these people dying? And so, as you're watching this movie, you can't help but think of what Episode 4 is. You're like, they have no idea what this is actually going to do. They just hope.
What this little glimmer of hope leads up to.
Yeah, they the people that die, that go into this mission, will never see the outcome of what their actions do. But it's so rewarding for us as fans to be on the other side, of the screen and watching it.
And just understanding, you guys made that happen.
Well, it's like, I just want to clap and just go, we salute you!
As opposed to Solo, which was just kind of a thing that existed and was busy trying to set up sequels and other things in its own story, rather than just being a solid, focused story.
And what I liked in it is that for years we've thought as Star Wars fans, or a lot of us have, I don't know about y'all, but how could they have that fatal flaw in it?
Yeah.
How is that possible of an empire this big? How are they going to be so stupid?
Probably they made a whole movie to fix one little retcon, and they did it perfectly. To fix one little mistake that George Lucas didn't catch way back when, and they did it so well.
It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, I don't know why you're watching this review yet.
And all the characters feel like they have some sort of point to them.
Yeah,
and all the nice little callbacks are just nice little callbacks. They're not in your face every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, remember when this happened? Remember Jabba the Hutt? Remember Darth Maul?
Yeah. It's just honestly, it's just a well-rounded movie. It was
very well-rounded, like the Death Star.
Yes. No, it's just really good. Okay, it's like, for me, when I watch Star Wars, I get that warm feeling when I watch Episode 4, 5, and 6, because those are my favorite movies. And it's like, yes, the heroes have won. But in this movie, I also love war movies, like World War II and stuff like that, because I like to see the stuff that they don't really show, the more in-your-face kind of action and the sacrifices that are made. And so this one gives me a warm feeling because it's Star Wars, but at the same time, it gives me more of a real feeling to the rest of the movies, and
it kind of connects you a little bit to the real world in a way.
Yeah, it just it makes me be a rebel more, if that makes sense, because I was already a rebel.
I think the thing that just works about it is that it just feels like it has more impact as opposed to Solo.
Yeah.
It's where Solo Han doesn't pull off a deal, so what? He'll find some way to get out of it. Whereas this one's like, hey, if these guys fail, guess what? The Empire's got the flippin' Death Star that can blow up entire planets and rule the entire galaxy. So there's bigger stakes. So it just feels like it has a lot more impact, and then therefore just knowing what they're fighting for and all that.
And of course, they've got some great lines in the movie too. And of course, I can't ever remember the droid's name.
K2SO?
Yes. K2.
AKA Sassy?
Yeah, I just nicknamed him Sassy because
K2 Sassy.
he just had so much sass, and I was like,
He's
yes.
like C-3PO if he actually had a point. If C-3PO had something to offer and was useful, that's what K2SO is.
He's just sassy, but at the same time, like, you can't help but love him.
Yeah.
You just really do love him.
I want one. Even though I know I'd hate him.
I would be like, oh my gosh, why are you being so sassy to me? But, so like, his lines were just always key. And then, of course, I can only remember so many names. I'm horrible with names, so I'm so sorry for all you Star Wars fans that are watching this. Be like, oh my gosh, you can't remember names. The blind guy.
I don't remember his name either.
See, no, I think it was only mentioned like a few times, and then when it was mentioned again, I was just like crying my eyes out as he was dying.
That was also another thing that I liked about it, is that it's a Star Wars movie that didn't really focus on the Jedi part.
Just focus
because
on
that's
the
one
Force.
thing that a lot of people have issues with Star Wars, is that it focuses too much on the Jedi and the Sith. And so this was a nice story that just kind of had a little sprinkle of it,
Yeah.
just with the blind guy talking about the Force, and it doesn't really ever specifically say if he's using the Force or not.
We have no idea. It's just a lucky
It could
guy.
be that he is just firmly devout in that belief of the Force and is not actually Force sensitive at all, or it could be he's actually using the Force. It's never really explicitly stated.
But he's really good.
Yeah,
Whatever.
he's really good.
But
He went to the Daredevil school of fighting stormtroopers.
Right. My favorite line that he says though is when they're putting the bags over all their heads, and he goes, "Seriously, I'm blind."
Seriously, I'm blind.
Like, it was a great
You know what it
line.
reminds me of, though, kind of? I believe it's Toph from Airbender.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, it did something that Star Wars has needed for a while. It made Darth Vader cool again.
It did. That Darth Vader scene.
Darth Vader.
Oh
my goodness.
Don't choke on your Emperor.
Careful not to choke on your aspirations. Sure, he sounds a little old, but it's serviceable. It works in the context of the scene, given the fact that he was just in the little bath thing. Stop it! I know what you're trying to do. He was in the bath, so I can kind of get his weird voice. I can kind of make it because he was just in that back to tank.
And right at the very end, where they're like just standing there and there's all the smoke.
Oh yes, easily my favorite part. Just a
yes.
Even though there's one major point that was made to me that kind of ruins it in a small way.
Oh no.
Is that it means for him to have snuck up on them, he had to have stopped breathing temporarily.
You're right.
And it's kind of stupid when you really think about it.
He's been doing this the whole time. And no one really kind of stops. I mean, you really only stop kind of hearing it when
He's
it
just like,
gets a little bit.
okay. Surprise, guys, it's me. Wasn't that so cool? Aren't that so edgy?
I put a sneaky on you.
I put a sneaky on you. Now you gonna die. But yeah, aside from that,
Wow.
that scene of Vader kicking butt is super cool. Just
It'll all be perfect.
Yeah, if it's gonna be super cool like that, it's gotta have at least one little goofy bit to it. Otherwise, it's not gonna make sense. But it was such a cool scene, and Darth Vader is actually cool again.
Darth Vader was
Until
always cool.
Disney does something to ruin it. I don't know.
Darth Vader was always cool.
Except when he's talking about sand. It's coarse,
Coarse,
rough,
and
irritating.
Gets
And it gets
everywhere.
everywhere.
Just everywhere.
So yes, all in all, Rogue One, a vast step up from both the prequels and Solo, a Star Wars story.
Yes.
Just as a whole, it felt like it was a much better put together film
Yes.
that had a reason for existing, aside from Disney wanting money.
It was just a really good movie.
It was.
I was really I'm very, very happy that this movie exists.
Would you dare say someone could start with this one? Or would you recommend they go to New Hope first?
I think starting with this one would be really good because it ends right where New Hope starts.
Yeah.
So if you really want to get sad first, just watch this one.
That I didn't even think about that. This could be a good entry point.
I mean, if especially because it doesn't really talk so much, it gives you that lingering like, hey, what is the Force? What does the Force do? Who is this Jedi this guy was talking about? Okay, why are they? Who is this Darth Vader? You know, all this other stuff, and then you go into New Hope, and then you go into the rest. It's just this movie is just
this movie gets a good intro. Oh my gosh, I need to introduce somebody to Rogue One now. That's amazing.
When I have children,
I didn't even think of that.
Years from now.
But anyways, thank you all so much for watching this lovely review. If you liked it, feel free to hit the like button down below.
Like it all
Feel
the
free
way.
to comment and give a suggestion of something else we take a look at after we're done with all these Star Wars movies.
Yeah, or just leave us a comment in general.
Yeah, and tell us if you have any suggestions for pretty much any videos for us. Or just what do you think, what are your thoughts on Rogue One? Did you think it was cool, or were you one of the people that think it was really stupid and boring? Or do you think Vader's cool? Or do you think he's just a big overrated dummy?
He's not a dummy.
Some people think he's overrated. I can kind of see where they're coming from. Or you can subscribe to just see what other random videos we've got going on the channel.
Randomness.
Or you can check out my channel or AB's channel or Michael's not channel because he doesn't have one.
Just true. He doesn't have one.
No,
so don't look for it.
At the moment.
Anywho, have a fantastical day or night or sleep or whatever time you're watching this.
And may the Force be with you.
The Force is with me and I'm one with the Force. The Force is with me and I'm one with the Force.
He always does this.
The Force is with me.